The idea that the Anunnaki might have had a global influence isn't a novel concept, but exploring its potential breadth and depth is an enthralling journey. As we traverse ancient civilizations and their achievements, it's hard to ignore certain patterns and parallels that seemingly hint at a unifying factor. Could it be that this ancient extraterrestrial race, known in Mesopotamian myths as powerful deities, shared their knowledge across vast stretches of land and time? When we observe ancient structures from the ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the pyramids of Egypt, and even the distant step temples of the Mayans, a structural similarity emerges. These colossal structures, often aligned with celestial bodies and events, demand a level of architectural and astronomical expertise that seems ahead of its time. The question then arises, is it mere coincidence or a shared blueprint from a singular advanced source? This theme of advanced knowledge isn't confined to architecture. Ancient cultures from the Sumerians to the Vedic Indians possess scriptures detailing complex astronomical data. They charted the movement of stars, understood the concept of planets, and even hinted at a heliocentric system. Were these independent discoveries, or was there a teacher, perhaps the Anunnaki, guiding them to these revelations? Mythologies further fuel this speculation. Various cultures describe divine or otherworldly beings who descended from the skies. In South America, the legends talk of gods arriving from the stars and teaching them advanced agricultural methods. Similarly, in Africa, the Dogon tribe's knowledge of the Sirius star system, particularly of the dwarf star invisible to the naked eye, baffles scientists today. Were these mere tales or encoded accounts of actual encounters with beings from beyond our world? Artifacts and symbols also suggest a global link. The ubiquitous dragon, revered from China to Europe while diverse in interpretation, holds common themes of power, divinity, and often association with the sky or cosmos. Were these depictions inspired by the Anunnaki or their technologies, interpreted by our ancestors as magical or divine? While these patterns and similarities across ancient cultures are striking, they also open a Pandora's box of questions. Were our ancestors merely drawing from a shared well of human imagination, coming up with parallel innovations and myths? Or do these patterns suggest that an external, perhaps extraterrestrial influence, specifically the Anunnaki, bridged these cultures and eras, sowing seeds of knowledge that blossomed into the marvels we study and admire today? The Indus Valley, nestled between modern-day Pakistan and India, was home to one of the most enigmatic ancient civilizations. Flourishing around 3,300–1300 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization, or Harappan Civilization, named after Harappa, one of its primary cities, showcased a level of urban sophistication and organization that rivals its contemporaries in Egypt and Mesopotamia. Astonishingly, within the ruins of the Indus Valley, archaeologists have unearthed symbols and artifacts that bear uncanny resemblances to the Anunnaki iconography of ancient Sumer. While it's crucial to approach such comparisons with caution, the potential implications of these findings are hard to ignore. City layouts of the major Indus centers, such as Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, display meticulous planning. Wide, straight streets form a grid pattern, with advanced sewage and drainage systems unseen in other parts of the ancient world. At the heart of Mohenjo-Daro stands the Great Bath, a central public structure possibly used for ceremonial purposes. Surrounding it are symbols etched into stone and metal, symbols resembling the winged sun disk, a staple of Anunnaki representation. Moreover, countless small soapstone seals have been found throughout the Indus Valley sites. These seals, mostly square or rectangular, depict various animals, figures, and symbols. Among these symbols, certain motifs echo the iconography associated with the Anunnaki, most notably figures standing or seated in postures reminiscent of deities found in Sumerian depictions. While the written script of the Indus Valley remains undeciphered, these symbols offer tantalizing hints. Many researchers have posited a potential cultural or spiritual link between the Harappans and the Sumerians. It's conceivable that they might have shared, borrowed, or even inherited certain aspects of spirituality and mythology, possibly centered around the mysterious Anunnaki. One of the most striking pieces of evidence is a depiction found on a seal where a figure, seated in a yogic posture and surrounded by animals, bears a headpiece strikingly similar to those worn by Sumerian deities. This figure, often called the Pashupati seal, has led many to speculate about a deity or figure that may have been revered in both cultures. Trade is another avenue that might have facilitated this cultural exchange. The Indus Valley people were known traders, their goods reaching far-off lands, including Sumer. It's entirely possible that during these exchanges, more than just commodities were shared. Stories, myths, and religious beliefs could have traveled alongside material goods. While definitive conclusions remain elusive, the parallels between the two civilizations provide a tantalizing puzzle. Did the Indus Valley inhabitants have their own interpretation or version of the Anunnaki? Or are these similarities mere coincidences born from the universal human penchant for creating myths? The sands of time continue to obscure these secrets, but the pursuit of answers persists, reminding us of the interconnected tapestry of ancient human civilizations. The connection between the Anunnaki and ancient Egypt is a topic of fervent debate, exploration, and wonder. While Mesopotamia is often cited as the primary region of influence for the Anunnaki according to various theories, their reach possibly extended far beyond, touching the banks of the Nile and influencing the dynasties that rose there. At the heart of ancient Egypt was its pantheon of gods and goddesses, revered and depicted in magnificent temples, hieroglyphs, and papyrus scrolls. Names like Osiris, Isis, Ra, and Anubis are well known. But some researchers suggest that these deities could share a lineage or be synonymous with the Anunnaki. One of the compelling arguments stems from the intricate and advanced architectural feats of the Egyptians. The pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza, remain a marvel. Their precise alignments with celestial bodies, intricate internal chambers, and sheer grandiosity are sometimes cited as being beyond the capabilities of ancient man without some external guidance. Could it be that the Anunnaki, with their advanced knowledge, had a hand in this? Then there are the similarities in stories and legends. Just as the Anunnaki were believed to have imparted vast knowledge in Mesopotamia, so too were the gods of Egypt considered the source of wisdom, medicine, astronomy, and more. The Book of the Dead, a guide to the afterlife for ancient Egyptians, contains spells and instructions that resonate with tales from Sumerian texts. Themes of life, death, resurrection, and the stars repeatedly appear in both cultures. However, it's the similarities between the physical depictions of the gods where things become even more intriguing. Both Sumerian and Egyptian art represent their deities as larger than life, often possessing unique crowns or headdresses and holding staffs or scepters of power. Some speculate that these could be more than just symbols, but might represent some form of advanced technology or device. Moreover, the idea of kingship, granted from the heavens, is a common thread. Pharaohs were seen not just as rulers but as gods in human form, a direct bridge between the mortal realm and the divine. This concept aligns with the Sumerian belief of kingship being bestowed by the Anunnaki. However, with these points made, it's essential to tread with caution. Correlation does not necessarily imply causation. While there are parallels, there are also vast differences in the beliefs, practices, and histories of the Sumerian and Egyptian civilizations. Many scholars believe that these similarities might be coincidental or stem from the shared human experience rather than direct influence. Situated between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what's modern-day Iraq, the Sumerians established one of the world's first urban civilizations. Their impact on the course of human history is profound, laying the groundwork for many facets of modern society. In the annals of ancient history, Sumer is often referred to as the cradle of civilization. By 4000 BCE, the Sumerians had already developed systems of writing, advanced architecture, and complex religious beliefs. Their society was a collection of city-states, each governed by its king and protected by its patron god or goddess. Some of the most famous city-states include Ur, Uruk, and Eridu. One of the Sumerians' most celebrated achievements is their system of writing called cuneiform. Etched onto clay tablets, cuneiform symbols allowed them to maintain records, draft laws, and create poetic works of literature. Among these, the Epic of Gilgamesh stands out, an epic poem that predates even Homer's works and delves deep into themes of friendship, ambition, and the human quest for immortality. Religion was central to Sumerian life. They believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled every aspect of their world, from the movements of the stars to the fertility of the soil. Temples known as ziggurats towered over their cities. These were not just places of worship, but centers of economic and administrative activity. Economically, the Sumerians were pioneers in trade and agriculture. Their land, often termed the Fertile Crescent, was immensely fruitful, allowing them to cultivate a range of crops. Yet what truly propelled their economy was their ingenuity. The Sumerians were among the first to use the wheel, not for transportation initially, but for pottery. They also devised systems of weights and measures, facilitating trade within and beyond their borders. But life in Sumer wasn't always peaceful. Conflicts often arose between city-states vying for resources, leading to the establishment of fortified walls and the rise of warrior kings. The ebb and flow of power, as one city rose while another declined, became a hallmark of Sumerian politics. Over time, as with all ancient civilizations, the Sumerians faced decline. They were absorbed or conquered by subsequent empires, including the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. However, the imprint they left is undeniable. Their innovations in governance, writing, religion, and technology set the stage for successive civilizations and in many ways shaped the trajectory of human progress. Zecharia Sitchin, a controversial and influential figure in the realm of ancient astronaut theories, left behind a legacy that continues to captivate and challenge scholars and enthusiasts alike. His interpretations of ancient Sumerian texts and their potential links to extraterrestrial beings, particularly the Anunnaki, have fueled debates and discussions across the world. Born in Azerbaijan and raised in Palestine, Sitchin's multilingual skills played a pivotal role in his explorations. Fluent in modern and ancient languages, he meticulously deciphered ancient cuneiform texts, the wedge-shaped script used by the Sumerians. Through this deep dive, Sitchin proposed some intriguing and groundbreaking ideas. Central to his theories is the belief that the Anunnaki, a pantheon of deities described in ancient Mesopotamian literature, were not mere myths. Instead, he proposed that they were extraterrestrial beings from a planet named Nibiru, which orbits our Sun every 3,600 years. According to Sitchin, these beings came to Earth seeking gold, a resource they required to save the deteriorating atmosphere of their home planet. Sitchin's interpretation of the texts paints a vivid picture of these visitors. He describes how the Anunnaki, upon arriving on Earth, genetically modified native hominins to create a labor force, resulting in the emergence of modern humans. This audacious claim suggests that our very evolution might have been influenced or even orchestrated by these celestial beings. But Sitchin didn't stop there. He posited that much of human civilization's early advancements, from the birth of agriculture to the establishment of organized societies, were guided by the Anunnaki. They played the role of teachers, imparting knowledge that accelerated human progress at an unprecedented rate. Another fascinating angle Sitchin explored was the potential correlations between the Anunnaki tales and stories from other cultures. He drew parallels between Sumerian accounts and those in ancient scriptures like the Hebrew Bible. The story of the Great Flood, for example, appears both in Sumerian texts and in the biblical account of Noah. Was it mere coincidence or evidence of shared experiences with these celestial beings? Though his theories have been met with skepticism from mainstream archaeologists and linguists, who often argue that his translations are misinterpretations, there's no denying the influence Sitchin has had. His work has spawned a plethora of books, documentaries, and discussions, bridging the gap between ancient legends and the possibility of extraterrestrial encounters. In the end, whether one subscribes to Sitchin's views or dismisses them, his perspective offers an enchanting lens through which to view our ancient past, prompting us to question and explore the boundaries between myth, history, and the vast expanse of the cosmos. Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered if we are truly alone in the universe? It's a profound question that stirs the imagination and makes us question what we know about our own history. Today, we're diving deep into ancient Mesopotamia to explore the intriguing theory of the Anunnaki. Found in Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki were described as celestial beings that descended from the heavens. But could they have been more than just myth? And what if I told you this ancient tale has echoes in other cultures around the world, posing the possibility of a common narrative of extraterrestrial contact? In the heartland of Mesopotamia, one of the cradles of human civilization, the Sumerians etched a compelling narrative into clay tablets. They spoke of beings known as the Anunnaki, divine entities who descended from the heavens. These celestial figures were not mere flights of fantasy, but were perceived as genuine influences in the Sumerian society. In the Sumerian cosmology, the Anunnaki were believed to be the offspring of An, the sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. And among these divine figures, some, like Enki, Enlil, and Inanna, held significant roles in Sumerian myths and epics. They were seen as divine mediators, connecting the celestial realm with the earthly domain and playing a part in the creation and early development of humanity. The Sumerian texts describe Eridu as the first city established by the Anunnaki on Earth. Interestingly, Eridu is considered one of the oldest cities in the world, and it's in this ancient city that the concept of urbanization, written language, and state rule first began to emerge. The Anunnaki were often associated with bestowing wisdom and knowledge upon humanity. They're said to have taught humans the arts of civilization, like law, agriculture, architecture, and writing, catalyzing the societal shift from hunter-gatherers to settled agricultural communities. Now the crux of the issue remains. Are these accounts of the Anunnaki mythological constructs created to provide explanations for natural phenomena or historical events? Or could they be interpreted as early human interactions with beings from another world, documented through the only means available at that time, myths and legends? The ripples of the Anunnaki influence, it seems, extend well beyond the boundaries of Sumer. Whether it's under different names, titles, or representations, ancient cultures around the globe have distinct tales of divine beings descending from the skies to interact with humanity. Let's turn our gaze across various cultures and decipher these intriguing narratives. In ancient Egypt, for instance, the pantheon of gods was believed to have descended from the heavens to guide human society. Their god of wisdom, Thoth, similar to the Anunnaki, was said to have introduced writing, mathematics, and architecture to humanity. Intriguingly, the Sumerians' neighbor, the Akkadians, had their equivalent of the Anunnaki called the Igoge. Even halfway across the world in Mesoamerica, the Maya believed in the Kukulkan, or feathered serpent, a deity that bestowed knowledge and wisdom. He was known as Quetzalcoatl among the Aztecs. Meanwhile, the ancient Indian texts, the Vedas, tell of the devas, divine beings who interacted with humans and even interbred with them, a narrative strikingly similar to the Anunnaki's role in Sumerian texts. In Greek mythology, the gods resided atop Mount Olympus but frequently descended to Earth to interact and sometimes mate with humans, leading to the birth of demigods and heroes. Again, this resonates with the Sumerian account of the Anunnaki breeding with humans to create demigods. These parallels in disparate cultures across various geographical boundaries pose a bewildering question. Are these uncanny resemblances mere coincidences, sprung from the shared human impulse to personify and deify natural phenomena and existential quandaries? Or do they point towards a common thread, an ancient global influence by sky beings weaving through the tapestry of human civilization? As we dig deeper, we tread along the precipice of the known and the unknown, venturing into realms that blur the boundaries between mythology, archaeology, and even, perhaps, extraterrestrial encounters. This tantalizing and universally resounding theme of celestial beings lending a hand in the development of human civilization is truly compelling. From the celestial dragons of Chinese lore, the Norse gods of Asgard, to the divine pantheon of the Roman Empire, stories of mighty beings from the stars are deeply entrenched in our collective consciousness. So why is it that across wide oceans, over towering mountains, through vast deserts, and deep in lush rainforests, the tale of star beings visiting Earth, helping humans or sometimes wreaking havoc, finds its way into the oral and written traditions of civilizations? One explanation proposes that these myths are archetypal, that is, they represent universal symbols or motifs embedded deep within our collective unconscious, as Carl Jung might argue. They are part of our human heritage, a product of the shared fears, desires, and the innate curiosity about our place in the universe that is common to all human societies. Another explanation draws on the theories of Swiss author Erich von Däniken, who argues that these stories are not merely symbolic but literal descriptions of encounters with extraterrestrial beings. He contends that these celestial beings were, in fact, technologically advanced aliens who were mistaken for gods by our less advanced ancestors. Moreover, this global myth of celestial beings suggests a diffusion of cultural elements between ancient societies. This could mean that either these stories were so universally relevant that they spontaneously arose in each culture, or that ancient civilizations were much more globally connected than we give them credit for, sharing stories and myths across vast distances. Yet another perspective comes from the field of astroarchaeology. which suggests that these stories might represent early humans' attempts to understand and document astronomical phenomena. The celestial beings may be personifications of planets, stars, and celestial events like comets or meteor showers. However, the line of thought that we're most interested in aligns with the Sumerian text's narrative, that these beings were advanced entities who directly intervened in human society, teaching us agriculture, architecture, writing, and social organization. As we delve further into this topic, we'll encounter theories both intriguing and controversial. Each viewpoint offers a different lens to view these ancient narratives that have shaped our world and continue to puzzle and fascinate us to this day. The question is, which lens brings the truth into the sharpest focus? And are we prepared for what we might see? With such fascinating theories and tantalizing connections, one might be tempted to jump headfirst into believing these stories. However, as any good investigation goes, we need to approach this from a scientific perspective, scrutinizing the evidence, evaluating its validity, and understanding its context. Firstly, let's consider the Sumerian texts themselves. The clay tablets on which these stories were written were inscribed with cuneiform script, one of the earliest known forms of writing. Translating these is a complex task, often open to interpretation, so it's entirely possible that descriptions of the Anunnaki and their actions may not be entirely accurate. For instance, Zecharia Sitchin, a popular author known for his translations of these texts, proposed that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrials who came from a planet called Nibiru. Other scholars, however, have contested his interpretations, suggesting he read too literally into metaphors and symbolism in the text. In the realm of archaeology, physical evidence can also be ambiguous. While we find inexplicable feats of engineering in ancient structures and iconography that seems to depict otherworldly beings, these can also be explained by human innovation and the power of human imagination. Some proponents of the ancient astronaut theory point to technological achievements of ancient civilizations as evidence of extraterrestrial intervention. They argue that the construction of the pyramids of Giza or the Nazca lines in Peru would have required knowledge and technology beyond the capabilities of the people of the time. However, many archaeologists dispute this view, asserting that these feats are testament to human ingenuity rather than alien assistance. Turning to the global similarities in myths, these can be explained by the shared human experiences and archetypal narratives. While it's intriguing to think that similar stories of celestial beings across cultures point to a common historical event, it's also possible that these myths arose from shared human fears, desires, and attempts to understand the natural world. If we pause for a moment and put the skepticism aside, what could this Anunnaki influence really mean? Starting with the texts, the Sumerians described the Anunnaki as deities who descended from the heavens. They were seen as bringers of civilization, teaching humanity various aspects of culture like law, agriculture, architecture, and even the mysterious art of divination. If we consider this from an ancient astronaut perspective, this could be interpreted as these beings sharing advanced knowledge and technologies. This perspective gains even more weight when we consider how quickly civilization seemed to have sprung up in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. The region saw an almost abrupt transformation from a hunter-gatherer society to one that built cities, developed agriculture, and invented writing. Could this sudden leap have been aided by extraterrestrial influence? Moving to the global scale, if the Anunnaki did influence other cultures, we might need to rethink the concept of independent innovation. Currently, historians believe that many cultures developed similar technologies and beliefs independently, a phenomenon called parallel evolution. But if the Anunnaki theory holds true, it suggests a more interconnected ancient world than we currently believe. To take an example, let's consider the pyramids. Pyramidal structures appear not only in Egypt, but also in cultures as far removed as the Mayans in Central America. If we were guided by extraterrestrials in our distant past, it certainly poses intriguing questions about our origins and our place in the universe. Are we truly alone, or have we been part of a galactic community since the dawn of civilization? And as always, thanks for watching. We have taken a journey through ancient texts, explored cultures from around the globe, and tried to decode the influence of the Anunnaki. While the theory of extraterrestrial intervention in our past remains a topic of speculation and debate, it prompts us to keep an open mind, to question the accepted narratives, and to continue our quest for knowledge. As we ponder the mysteries of our past, we may just find clues that could reshape our understanding of our place in the universe. But as we continue our search for answers, remember, it's not just about reaching the destination, but also about the thrill of the journey itself. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, thanks for watching.